do we cope with violent relatives or family members? This is very, very important. You could even have to handle a patient who is violent. How do you cope? Today on the episode of Nursing with Abby, we're going to be talking about this topic. But before I go into the topic for the day, I'd like to thank all of my subscribers for always supporting this channel. Thank you so much. I do not take your support for granted. Thank you so much and welcome to class. Now, for those of you who are watching me for the first time, my name is Abiodun. I'm a nurse, I'm a midwife, I'm a public health advocate, and I love what I do. Now, I talk about nursing on this channel, I talk about lifestyle, and I talk about everything in between. So today, I'm going to be talking about something a bit more frankly right now. Yes, about brutality of nurses or by patient relatives or even patient themselves. Yes. Some of them are so uncooperative, some of them are so undecisive sometimes, and they get so agitated that they become physical with nurses, and nurses are the worst hit when it comes to situations like this. So I'm going to be teaching us how to manage this situation, to prevent it from escalating into domestic abuse, to prevent it from escalating into manhandling or a serious injury or accidents later on. Okay, so what do we do? Now, it's actually a multidisciplinary approach. What I mean is the nurses alone can do it. We have to involve the management of the hospital. We have to involve the security agents also. In some situations, we have to involve the nurses to themselves. We have to involve the clients or the patients and also the patient relatives. So all hands has to be on deck to ensure that this does not happen. Nurses are there to care. Nurses are there to nurture. Nurses are not there to be superheroes. Neither are they there to be manhandled or mistreated. Okay, so please, this is a clarion call to everyone who takes his relative to the hospital. Those people are there to care for your people. So you have to treat them with respect and dignity. You have to treat them well so that they can deliver the best possible care to your guests or to your clients or to your patients or to your family member who is sick. Now, so what do we do? How can we curb this? Because unfortunately, even with with this, we still have a lot of nurses coming down with issues or situations of manhandling or uncooperative family members. So number one, have a local policy and communicate it appropriately. Now, if it is a law in your hospital that there is a particular time for visiting or there's a particular time for patient involvement in their relatives involvement in their patient care, it should be well communicated and everyone should be aware. In fact, you could do an organogram or a picture of it, or you can write it out and paste it on different parts of the hospital, especially on entry into the ward. So it is important that the law is made or set that okay, at 4 p.m. all relatives are supposed to be out while we do our nursing care, or while we attend to our clients, or relatives are supposed also to excuse or something like that. So information is very important to aid compliance. At least it will go a long way to curb all this, because the law is there and the law must be followed or adhered to strictly. Okay, so we have a lot of issues like that. The relative will tell you, you didn't tell me, I didn't know about it. You can't just make laws that you don't even communicate to everyone. So if it is communicated all over the place as to when to do this, when the relative should be involved, when it should be to excuse us and all that, it will go a long way to ensure law and order. Now, I'm usually talking about areas or hospitals that you might not have a flexible, you might not have you might have some situations with maybe security and all that. It's important that the information be communicated to all the staff. Okay, so that patient relatives are aware of what to do, when to do it, and what not to do. Now, another thing is that you have to be sensitive and calm in your approach. Now, you've been taught about how to observe people. You have to look at their mien or their psychic. You just have to read through them. Some people are just angry and temperamental, and they're just looking for who to vent such anger on. So be calm in your approach. Even if you need to do something that would hurt the patient, you could talk nicely. For example, I want to catheterize a female, and I go into the room with my items, or I first go and seek permission, I can go this way. Hello, Mrs. Olayinka. How are you doing today? Now, there's a procedure that you need to go through right now to help us to give you the best of care. And that procedure is a bit private, and I would love that your relatives excuse us while we go to the procedure, we start the procedure. Now, there is no one that listens to that and would just flare up or get angry. Okay? And you could just say, actually, I know this is actually a family time, but for the procedure that we intend to do in the next 1 hour, we need to do this particular maybe test, or we need to run this lab for you so that we don't have to shift the procedure to another time. Now, nobody will want this a procedure to be shifted later than the time it should, especially when it has to do with the health and well-being of their client or themselves. So definitely they want to comply, even if it means having the whole family step out and all that. Now, even if a procedure is going to be painful, you could be nice about it. Hello, madam. This procedure is quite discomforting, but I would love you to just breathe in and out rapidly, and you try to stay still while as much as possible, I'll be fast about it and we'll be done in no time. Okay, especially our antenatal mothers or a woman in labor, about vaginal examination and all that. That is quite painful. So by the time you relax such a guest, you encourage her, you reassure her, you tell her what she's likely to expect, and then how she can cope with it. It will give her an opportunity to, have a better ability to cope with such painful situation than putting her in the dark or her being ignorant of the kind of pain that she's likely to experience. Another thing is be empathic. Now, the two scenarios I gave now, as much as possible, I communicated the information, but I was as empathic as possible so that they feel the sense of love and belonging. Even if they have to go through the pain, at least there is a nurse who is helping them go through it, assisting them, understands that it's painful, and she's gonna help me to go through it as fast as she can. Another thing is we have to have security details and protocols to avert danger. Now, for every hospital, it's important that we have security protocols, because we may never know who is going to be the violent relative or the violent family member. But it is important that the security protocol is always available, especially in mental homes, rehabilitation homes, especially in places that you have the violent ones being taken care of. There should always be a security detail. That is very, very important, and you should be able to communicate with them. They should always be within reach, and they should always be available to avert any form of physical abuse. Also, you foresee any impending danger and communicate promptly. Now, impending danger can be in different forms. For example, there could be a faulty corridor, maybe tile floor or something like that, and you know there's an impending danger because anyone that falls from that faulty tile or floor can injure him or herself, and there could be a whole lot of fracas in the hospital. So if there is something like that, you have to make sure that you communicate effectively to whoever is involved, especially first to your unit manager, your line manager, and then that she would also, or he or she would ensure that it is fixed in the shortest possible time. Because when it comes to faulty electronics, faulty machines, faulty equipment, when it comes to misused or mismanaged facility, if there is any injury or any problem from such, the hospital is to be blamed. So it is important that we foresee such situations, we prevent or stop it as soon as possible before it escalates into an accident that could make relatives now start to get very violent and uncooperative, because definitely they are all humans. So if there's any facility or equipment malfunction that has caused or aggravated the situation of a client or a guest, you expect that the relatives will react by getting so violent and uncooperative. So we have to make sure that we nip it in the bud before any accident occurs. Now, the last thing is, and that is very important, don't be a superhero. Don't be a superhero. Don't be a superman. Your life first. your life first. As a nurse, your life is most important. So as soon as you see that a person is violent, you have to make sure that you protect yourself and significant others. Okay? Yes, you have to try as much as possible to protect yourself and significant other. Let me give you an example. Now, if you see someone who is trying to probably hit another person or injure himself or another person, and you get into the room as a nurse, now you can try calmly to speak or engage such a person. I can see you are actually very agitated right now and you feel like taking your life. Do you mind talking about it, or what do you think? Would you like to talk about it? What exactly is going on or going through your mind right now? And you could fling the knife or whatever and say, leave me alone, nobody comes near me. And you're like, okay, yes, I'm not coming near you. As much as possible, try to move away from the door. Yes, as you are moving away from the door, don't be a superhero and stay by the door and try to, or go and face him and try to collect the knife. You could be injured, which could be fatal or deadly, because it's actually not thinking at that point. So try as much as possible to stay away from the door, move away from the door, giving him an opportunity to probably escape. Now, if he sees an opportunity to escape, he probably will leave the hostage that is maybe holding on, maybe the young girl or the young boy or the other person that is holding on to defend himself. He'll probably leave such a person and try to escape. Now, at least you've been able to save someone, and then we know that we have to alert the security officials to hold him down before getting out of the hospital. At least with that, you've been able to save yourself, save the hostage, and there is increased likelihood of the person being caught before getting to the gate of the hospital. So you have to really be wise when it comes to violent people, especially those that are mentally imbalanced, because at that moment they really do not understand the voice of reasoning. But if you can communicate with them and try to assist them to the exit, while you save the hostage, you save yourself, and then the security operatives are available to hold him down or catch him before he leaves the hospital. At least you've been able to save 3 lives with your intuition. So these are the various ways I think that we can, as much as possible, reduce or completely avert this nurse brutality or maltreatment by patient relatives or family members. If you have any other information or suggestions or any addition, or if you want to contradict what I said, why not add it in your comment section, in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for another episode of Nursing with Abby. Please make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe. From here, signing out Nursing with Abby team. Bye for now.